I spent 100 days in Coral Island 1.1. Well, really, it was a whole year, but you know how YouTube likes those 100-day videos. Coral Island is a cute farming sim that is about to celebrate its 1-year birthday. I was a backer for the Kickstarter, and I was able to be in the alpha testing group. Since its release though, I will admit I have not played very much of it. Now that the merfolk are in the game, I really wanted to dive back in and give this game a true playthrough. I started off on day 0 getting my character set up and setting some goals for myself. I decided my goals should be to find the Merfolk Kingdom, get married, and decorate a pretty farm. With my new farmer's outfit on, I was ready to ride the chicken boat into town and start my adventure. Day 1. After meeting the mayor and the local carpenters, I set to work clearing my land for the crops and getting the seeds into the ground. When the seeds are planted, I headed into town to find the general store and buy more seeds. Along the way, I met a handful of new people and took a peek at the animals in the rescue center. Once I made it to Sam's store, I was given the task to meet more of my neighbors. I ran around meeting who I could. I met Ben, Noah, Alice, Eva, Millie, Taco, Raphael, Derek, Surya, Butter, Bonbon, of course, Sam, Raj, Frank, Anne, her husband Paul, Emily, Dippa, Leah, Valentina, Oliver, Pablo, Luke, Randy, Joko, which I kinda had already met, Shame, and Suki. I really think I like the 2 blacksmith brothers. Think I can get away with dating both. After scouting the love interest, I ran home to plant my carrots and work on getting the supplies for my first house upgrade. On day 2, I lost a crop in the night and I need to somehow figure out making a scarecrow. That will have to wait as I spent my morning caring for the other crops and gathering supplies so I can repair my house today. I ran to the carpenter's place as soon as I could, only stopping to talk to a couple of handsome men. Picking just one person will be hard in this game. After that, I went looking for enough flowers to make a bouquet and had my coffers processed by Raphael. I've been trying to woo villagers as I see them today, gifting them items that I have foraged from somewhere nearby. I ended my day clearing more of the farmland and earning a level in foraging. It was a rainy day on day 3, so I had very little chores to complete. I did get an invitation down to the beach shack and they gave me a bug net and a fishing rod. I don't particularly like fishing, but bug catching sounds fun. After that, I went into town and I found that the museum was open, but in dire need of help. Scott had to sell his whole collection to help save the town and contribute to the oil spill, so now I am here to aid in collecting everything all over again. I dropped off a fly so I had room in my inventory to make a bouquet and move on with my quests. Pablo is home to receive my flowers, so he's the lucky man of the day. I continued to gather new bugs for the museum and forage around the island. I even cleared the path from my house to the beach until it was past my bedtime. On day 4, I watered my garden, planted some seeds, and decided to run into town for more spring crops. Before I could get to Sam's though, I was stopped by the loud noises of an angry crowd. Pufferfish had built a headquarters in the town, and the local people are pretty upset. While I waited on Sam to open up for the day, I poked my head in to meet the two ladies of pufferfish. When Sam opened up, I bought the backpack upgrade, and then I spent the rest of my money on seeds. I went home after this to plant my seeds, try to catch bugs, and clear my land for beautification. Mark, a grumpy but handsome fella, stopped by on the morning of day 5. He told me something about monsters and the danger in the caverns. I'm all in on that. I harvested my first crops and sold those to Sam, then bought up all the seeds I could to fill my farm. Once my farm was set for the day, I took off for those caverns to see what trouble I could get into. I met Kira in there, and she pointed me towards the earth shaft. I wonder if it's possible for me to clear all the mine sections in 100 days. I made it down to level 5 in the earth shaft, gathering a lot of bronze along the way. I picked up a couple bugs, and one was misnamed. I'm pretty sure they meant lightning bug. Then I went home, where I leveled up in farming and mining as I slept. My honey Pablo came to visit bright and early on day 6. He's impressed with my mining skills. You know, he's wearing a purple shirt and has tattoos. This is a match made in heaven, I think. I wanted to upgrade my tools soon, so I went for the caverns to gather more bronze for the furnace and the bars I would need for the upgrades. While I was down there, I made it to level 10 and picked up a speed ring to speed up my tools. When I got home, I turned on the furnace and saw there was a challenge from Kira. I need to kill 30 monsters in the mines. I thought after that I would head into town and give Pablo a turnip, but Mayor Connor grabbed me instead. He told me all about the town's F rating and the oil spill. Should I tack on a town rating goal for my 100 days? I don't know if adding the caverns and the town ratings are doable, but I think I would like to try. I went to the tavern after the meeting with Connor, and I met up with a lot of people there and chatted for a while. I didn't slack off though. I went home in time to clear more of my land before bed. I leveled up my foraging skills and finished my first bronze bar and leveled up in combat. In the night, I had a trippy dream asking me to go touch one of the trees I had seen in town. For day 7, I want to try and see what it takes to upgrade my pickaxe, then dive as far into the caverns as I can. I want an idea of how deep they go so I can decide if completing the caverns in 100 days is a viable goal. Unfortunately, the blacksmith was closed today, so I can't check on the pickaxe price. I did stop by a tree and the temple to see what it was all about. I saw some totem-like figure come out of the tree, but I couldn't catch up to him. I spent the rest of the day in the caverns. I don't feel like I made it very far, but maybe with an upgraded pick I will do better. I did level up to level 2 in mining on this day. I got an invite to see the lab about diving on day 8. That sounds like fun. I also got a letter from the chieftain asking me to visit as well. I guess after my morning chores are done, I have somewhere to be. I harvested the peony that someone had asked me for and watered everything else. Then I was off to meet the giant chieftain. He zapped me and gave me the third eye so I can read things I couldn't before. He also told me to visit the temple and the goddess there. I think I want to see the diver first. Ling is a scientist who wants to see the ocean cleaned up. She gave me a diving suit in exchange for looking for 5 orbs underwater. After that, I tried to find Lily to give her the flower she asked for, but the map placed her inside the abandoned mansion and I couldn't reach her there. I sprinted for the temple instead and spoke to someone who said that I need to find things for the altar to help her regain her power and strength. Thankfully, I still have 1 day to deliver to Lily, so I went home, finding things for the museum and the altar offerings along the way before I went to bed. I started the morning of day 9 with running to the temple to make my offerings. Then I found Lily and gave her the peony she had been asking for. I stopped by the blacksmith to give Pablo some cherries and found out I'm 2 bronze bars short of being able to do a pick upgrade. I dropped in on Scott to donate a few more things to the museum. That's when he told me about his desire to make the museum larger. He has an idea to start a Kickstarter to help raise the funds for the museum. This is a cute nod to the game because Coral Island was funded through Kickstarter. I'm proud to say I was a Kickstarter backer. When I was done with Scott, I went home, gathered more offerings, and headed back to the temple. I unlocked some kind of fast travel system with my offering, and the potion made me sick to my stomach. Now I need to figure out how the fast travel works. I also got a recycling machine from the altar. I spent the remaining time looking for museum items and trying to find more wasabi for the offerings. I ended the night leveling up to level 2 farming and level 1 catching, and I can make sprinklers now. Day 10 is the Cherry Blossom Festival day. It's sort of a wasted day. I played the sack race minigame and didn't do well enough to move on from the first round. Then, I put the best quality potato that I had into the community stew, but it wasn't enough for the judge. She said the community soup was just okay. After the festival, I worked on clearing the farm until I had to go to bed. The next morning, I wanted to head to the caverns and get enough bronze to leave my pickaxe with the blacksmiths. I had 2 letters asking me to visit different areas, but I think the pick needs to come first. I made it to the 20th level in the caverns and found a neat new hammer. Then, I took my ore home to smelt and realized I don't have enough coal. I did, however, get to meet and join the Band of Smiles. There is one guy there that makes me question if I really want Pablo to be my man. I made it to level 2 combat on this day. I went to see Sam on the morning of day 12. He told me he needs me to stock more bronze quality produce for him to sell in the store. I grabbed some more seeds and set to work getting that ready. I ran out of trash today. It's a weird thing to say. So I figured now is a great time to get back out into the ocean for some clearing. I was able to find 2 of the orbs while I was cleaning up the ocean and gather enough trash for a few more scarecrows and chests. Bright and early on day 13, Surya was at my door talking about diving and the kelp. I went ahead and went diving until my stamina ran out. I did manage to get some more of the orbs activated. I need to stock up on food next time I want to head into the ocean. I had hoped to catch Pablo at the blacksmith shop, but he was closed. I need to try and go there early on so I can get the geodes and coffers cracked open. I ran around chatting with my friends and looking for wasabi in the garden lane and woodland for the rest of the night. Although, when I tried to fast travel home, I kept getting dropped off at the temple, so I passed out on my way home. I leveled up in diving today and learned a scuba snack recipe. Hopefully that's a good thing. I gained my first heart with someone today. Joko. Weird because I don't even remember talking to him and I'm pretty sure I didn't gift him anything. Day 14, I was so confused. I woke up tired and in my bed. Apparently Sunny got me to the house, but I also woke up and all my crops were already watered. I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm going to take that as a sign to head for the caverns for coal to try and get the pickaxe upgrade going before I go diving again. In the first level, I found the coal I needed, and when I came out, Pablo was waiting and ready for a gift from me. I should have known that when I saw him in the cavern, that would mean that Pablo would not be available at the blacksmith. It's Sunday, and the blacksmith is closed. But now I'm ready to do the upgrade, and I will be sure to do that first thing in the morning. I took off for the ocean, stopping by Suki's to give her a potato she had asked for. In the ocean, I cleaned up some more, finding the 4th orb to activate. Then was alerted that the day was ending, so I headed home. Once again, the fast travel wasn't working to go home. Do I only get to use it if it's daytime? Or is it the home direction that doesn't work? I gained 1 heart with Suki on this day. Too bad Pablo and I are not getting any closer. I woke up bright and early on day 15 to harvest my crops. I needed a carrot for Wataru, and luckily, mine were ready. I harvested my 100th crop today, and I got a letter asking me to go to an abandoned cabin. I don't even know where that is. Once my chores were done, I headed for the blacksmith's shop. Since I knew the brothers weren't open quite so early, I stopped by the museum on my way to drop off a few more items. Pablo got to work on my pickaxe and then opened some of the geodes and coffers that I had. He's a manly man, after all. Upon leaving the blacksmith, I had more to drop off at the museum, but on my way, Ben stopped for an uncomfortable chat. What is a mate type person? Is he hitting on me? I got enough glass to start extracting kelp, so I swung by my place to get that started, then fast traveled to the beach for more diving. When I got there, I ran into Jim, and he accidentally dropped a photo. I need to hunt him and Wataru down today if I can. Luckily, both men weren't far from the diving docks, so I was able to deliver their goods to them. I dove into the ocean next, clearing enough to find the last orb. Ling asked me to go by the lab after I found 5 orbs, so I went there quickly. She explained that she uses a bit of science and magic to heal the oceans. It sounds interesting, but she wasn't able to share more with me yet. Since the main goal for today was done, I thought I would try to find the one missing wasabi I needed for the altars. While hunting around, I found the secret shop that the letter had mentioned near the caverns. It's run by Concerned Monkey. This has to be a nod to Stardew Valley's Concerned Ape, and I love that. I fast traveled over to the temple and found my missing wasabi, but I didn't have the other items in my pockets, so I went home, picked those up, fast traveled to the temple again. Once I had unlocked another altar, I tried to fast travel home, and it didn't work. I tried fast traveling to the lighthouse, and it did work. So it seems like I can't fast travel home. Bummer. I rushed home and made it to bed in time. Today was so productive. I finally got a heart with Pablo, and in the night, some interesting magic seemed to be happening at some trees. I need to figure out what that was and check it all out. My pickaxe was ready to be picked up on day 17. Hopefully I can see my man after I get my chores done. I managed to get to the blacksmith shop right on time for the opening. I grabbed my pick and headed into the caverns to test it out. It can take out some of the larger rocks in one swing now. I worked my way through the levels, reaching level 25, but exhausting myself in the process. I decided to head to bed and picked up a bug along the way home. That little bit of extra exertion almost did me in. I leveled up in mining today and got some stone crafting blueprints. I'd love to lay out some stone paths soon. Heck yeah! On day 17, Jeff sent me a sprinkler. I'm not sure who Jeff is, but I will take this. Jeff also sent me a mayo machine. I really should look into a coop and animals soon. I put down the sprinkler and the mayo machine, and then I was going to head to Sam's. When I got there, I found it was closed, because it's Wednesday. I did pick up a little task off the job board, though, and remembered that I had some items for the temple. I realized my furnace was in the way of me being able to fast travel home, so with that moved, I'm able to travel back and forth now. I dropped a few items off at the temple and headed back for the mines, trying to find the earth giant inside. I made it down to level 30 and got some traps for enemies from the chest. I persisted further, reaching level 35, and getting quite a bit of bronze ore and coal for smelting down. That night, I leveled up in farming, learning how to craft a mayo jar and some makeshift floor tiles. Day 18 was a rainy day, so I didn't have much to do in the morning. I do need to pick up more seeds today as the farm is a little bare. I made my way to the carpenter's house. I had some money to update the look of my house since I fat-fingered it in the beginning, and then I ordered the coop. After the coop, I headed to Sam's to get more seeds. I spent all of my remaining money on seeds, and I need to restock it soon so I can buy a chicken. I don't know where to buy those yet, though. I ran for the cavern to try and reach the bottom, or the missing earth giant. I barely made it to level 40 at the end of the day. I was racing the clock to inspect a glowing rock, then the chieftain was there to tell me the earth giant, Grog, was freed. I sprinted to the entrance of the cavern to meet him. I had an eventful night and barely made it to bed on time. I leveled up to level 4 in mining and level 3 in combat this night. I also snatched a little of Lily's heart from a brief conversation with her in Sam's shop. In the night, some weird ghosty thing stole some of my turnips from the shipping bin. When I went out in the morning, the giants asked me to visit the village. Grog would open it for me. I stopped to fish on my way to the giant's village, but I didn't find the tilapia that I had wanted. When I got to the giant village, Grog told me not to look while he opened it for me, but I peeked the whole time. Once inside, he pointed out who lived where and then showed me I could get my tools enchanted in the village too. I wandered away at that point, and when I got to Pablo's, I realized there were earth gems in my pockets. I couldn't donate them, so I figured I missed something, and I went back to the giant village to try out the enchantment process. I was able to enchant all of my tools with these earth gems. After all the running around, I wasted my day quite a bit. I ran for the caverns to check out the water cavern, but I couldn't make it into the next level. I did get enough silver ore to smelt my first silver bar though. On this morning of day 20, I found some mail. I was asked to help volunteer tomorrow and plant trees, and I found money from Grandma. I decided to spend time in the ocean today and found one more orb to set off. The cleanup is coming along nicely. After my energy was low, so I ran to the museum to drop off the new items, and I figured maybe I should peek at the animals. When I went into the town hall, Millie grabbed me to tell me all about merit points. I earned 80 merit points from the festival and helping people around town. After this, I met some of the animals up for adoption and read some books in the library. At home again, I transformed some trash to scrap and headed to bed. I need to organize my storage soon. I did level up to level 1 ranching today from the reading that I had done. I also somehow got through the tough exterior of Mark. Day 21. Today is Tree Planting Festival Day. After my chores, I plan to head there. I didn't even see a place for the boat in the cavern. I'll need to look at that next time I'm in there. We took a ride on the boat and headed off to an island that had been deforested. It was our job to plant more trees and bring it back to life. I did my best to plant a bunch of new saplings and chat with everyone there. It really felt like I was doing a majority of the work here, but I guess as the new person, it's my job to show I belong here. After planting trees all day, I went home to deforest my own ranch a little more. I gained a few hearts from talking to people today at this festival. I wanted to dive deep into the caverns on day 22, but honestly, I only got to level 5, which really isn't very far. I think I need to upgrade all of my tools so I can get a little further. I ended my time in the cavern early, with enough time to swing by the ranch and buy 3 chickens for my new coop. I welcomed chimichanga, empanada, and enchilada to the family. I finished out my day planting my banana tree, laying down some pathing, and visiting my new chickens. I earned 150 merit points from helping at yesterday's festival. I really need to upgrade my tools, but I'm out of bronze ore. So I headed into the earth mines to dig up some for myself on day 23. I actually got a decent haul, 34 pieces in this quick trip. I set things to smelting, and then I ran to town to try and get one last crop of seeds. There was a little commotion in the general store where the ladies were being catty, but I really don't want to get involved, so I snatched my turnip seeds and ran home. I laid a bunch of turnip fields down along with more scarecrows to make sure that we can start the next season with more money in our pockets. That night, I leveled up in foraging to level 3, which of course gave me wood decor options that would have looked nice on the farm, but I've already started laying down some stone things. Eva and I gained a friendship heart today too. On day 24, I woke up bright and early to water all of my turnip fields. It was refreshing. I need silver kelp to make sprinklers, so I think I should head for the ocean to see where I can get that too. I ran to the beach shop and grabbed some lunch so I could dive into the ocean. I was worn out so early. I thought I would try to organize my storage. That's when I found juice that gave me a ton of energy. I want to take that into the caverns or the ocean. I cleaned up my storage and then I worked on clearing to use up all of that energy. I leveled up my diving to level 2, and now I can make a recycling machine. I decided to mine on day 25. After caring for the chickens and watering my fields, I headed into the caverns to see how far I could get. I did find a new monster. It's this wasp-looking thing, and I made it to level 10 in the water caverns. I was stuck on one level for a while and a little disappointed to waste one of those juices on that level. I made it home and leveled up in ranching and mining. After tending my crop of turnips on day 26, I set off for the day to see if Ben's van was open for sale. Of course, it wasn't. I ran by some neighbors and chatted here and there. Raphael mentioned wanting tacos, so I bought him some. I might try to buy cheap gifts to feed everyone from here on out. I went to the ocean to clear things some more, finding 2 orbs this time. I really need to upgrade all of my tools, so I think I need to focus on the mines and money. A better scythe may make the ocean cleanup go faster. I nearly forgot that I have chickens now and ran to feed and pet them before bed. My drive-by socializing got me a heart with Archie, and that was my day. On day 27, I didn't have much money, which will be a reoccurring problem this whole playthrough. But I did have a lot of turnips. I put all the bronze ones in my shipping bin for my quest, but took the rest to Sam's to sell. I had enough money to upgrade my scythe, so I made my way there, but I forgot I needed wood to do that. Thankfully, it wasn't a wasted trip. I had Raphael open my coffers and geodes before I ran home. I stopped to drop new things off at the museum so that my pockets weren't as full, and ran into a group of people doing yoga in the square. I tried to say hi to Leah, but she just snubbed me. I managed to get home and get the wood I needed and back to the blacksmith in time to get my scythe upgraded. I then made my way over to the van and grabbed a scarecrow. From there, I decided I should spend the rest of the day on the farm. At the last minute, I remembered it was Pablo's birthday today, so I had to race to find him. I didn't have much, but he liked the candies that I had, so that worked out okay. Then I really went home to clear more land until nighttime. That night, I leveled up to level 4 farming, and now I can create a better scarecrow than the one I just bought. My relationship also improved with Dinda, Erica, Zoe, and my sweet, sweet Pablo. This morning, my scythe was ready for pickup. I took care of my farm, and then I grabbed up supplies to do the next tool upgrade. I sprinted for the blacksmith only to find they were closed for the day, and I can't get my scythe even though Raphael is right there. I went over to the temple after that defeat and found Millie trying to find the goddess of the island water. She's so cute, maybe I should let her in on the secret. I went into the water cavern today and reached level 25. I was surprised at my luck finding holes to jump down into. I finished off spring clearing more wood from my farm. Day 29 is the first day of summer. Someone named Nina came in on a boat today. Lily seems to know her, and I think she's living in the abandoned mansion. I went to the blacksmith's, chatted with Pablo, and picked up my scythe. I'm 1 bronze bar short of the next upgrade though. I opened a geode and got another ore, so I took off for home to smelt it. When I went back into town to go to Sam's, I was stopped by a town meeting in the square. Everyone has so many good things to say about Pablo that I know he's the man for me. I caught Mayor Connor scolding Sam for his scarecrows today too. I don't understand. The scarecrows are fun. Connor really isn't on my good list at this point. I took my new scythe into the ocean and love this upgrade so much. I found 1 more orb, then headed home. I have enough supplies to upgrade another tool in the morning. I gained relationship with Betty, Luke, and Wataru. Luke can be my backup boyfriend. He's pretty cute too. This morning of the 30th day was a rainy one, so I cleared some of my farm and cared for the chickens until the blacksmith was open. I left my axe for an upgrade, so maybe I can finish off clearing the farm quicker. Pablo mentioned wanting a cold drink, so I think I will see if the beach stand has any. Of course, everyone is closed when I need them. There is the coffee shop and the taco truck I could check, but I think the coffee is only hot. I headed for the coffee place and remembered there's the tavern too. I went there instead and found a cutscene about Frank testing new drinks out. It was a fun little cutscene as he tried to poison us all, but we made it out okay. I decided against buying alcohol from Frank as a gift and went to empty my pockets at the museum instead. One of the neighbors mentioned fishing in this rainy weather, so I figured I should heed their advice today. I fished up a barracuda, but really had a hard time with it. I need to upgrade my fishing pole and get some bait, I think. I dropped more things off at the museum and got a tapper, then dropped off one shallot from the garbage at the temple. Hopefully the temple goddess doesn't mind donations from the trash. Then I headed home to dry off and sleep. I gained a heart with Noah and Surya today. On day 31, after my morning chores, I took off for the beach to pick up some bait and see if there was a cheap cold drink at the beach shack, and there was. I bought a bunch to hand out. So far, people are really enjoying them. I picked up my new axe and gave Pablo a cool drink too. I ran around today handing out cold drinks and setting off cutscenes. I stumbled into a cute mother-son moment by the lake. I didn't find any other cutscenes this day, but I did hand out all the drinks I purchased before spending time on my farm clearing more of it and setting up a fence around the chicken coop. That night, I gained a heart with Alia, Ben, Ling, Macy, and Yuri. The drinks were a great idea, and I will use them more often. On day 32, I woke up and took care of the farm per usual. Once my chickens were happy, I set out for the ocean. I want to get further in the ocean and cavern, but I have to pick one. Today, I found 2 orbs to set off, and one of the orbs released a talking turtle. I couldn't understand him, but he did give me food. When I was back on dry land, I gave some sea salt to the temple and the upside-down jelly to the museum before I went to sleep for the night. I got a letter today telling me an animal festival is coming up. This is the morning of day 33. I haven't been able to figure out how to adopt an animal. I really like Fizz, but I can't bring him home. I gathered up my things to stop by the blacksmith and the lab today. I gave Pablo a flower and chatted a bit while he opened my coffers, and then I ran into Surya on the way to the lab. He really liked my flowers too. He's pretty cute. I tried to upgrade my seed quality at the lab and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. It took me a few tries to realize it's because I don't have enough money. I spent the evening in the ocean clearing enough to find 3 orbs and 1 more turtle person. I also found a letter in my mailbox when I got home that I had reached letter E. I think it's for the town, but I'm not sure. When I went to sleep, I got some clarification. It was my town rank. I have unlocked pet adoptions and a slew of other things now. I also gained more merit and leveled up to level 3 in diving. I gained more hearts with Anne, Connor, Leah, Sam, Theo, Walter, and Sarah. I don't think I talked to all these people today, so maybe it's from upping the town ranking. Last but not least, I added more relationship with Pablo. When can we make this official? Day 34. I woke up this morning with a few new letters. Ling even sent me an auto fertilizer. I took my first summer crop into Sam to sell, and I really want to do the lab upgrades, but I also need new seeds, so I went ahead and got the next round of seeds instead. I swung by Pablo's to chat, and then had Raphael crack open the coffers for me. I found 1 new item for the museum, then went home to plant my new seeds. And then I was back into the ocean. I cleared a lot of space, and I really need a backpack upgrade, but I only found 1 orb at the last minute before the diving bot made me resurface. I leveled up in catching today, which is probably my least used skill. I just don't do well with how fast the bugs are. Maybe an upgraded net will help. On day 35, I have enough money to upgrade my seeds in the lab. If it's not open, I will upgrade my fishing rod or my bug net. But first, I need to take care of my farm. The lab was open, so I picked up the seed upgrade. It says it will take 2 days to complete, which I find odd, but I guess I'll wait. The net upgrade is another $2,000, and I don't have that, so back in the ocean I went. I managed to clear 5 more orbs and hit the 20 that I needed. Some large nasty vines shrunk away, but it was late and I was tired, so I'll investigate those tomorrow. Day 36 was another rainy day, so my chores were quick. I made it out into the ocean pretty fast this morning. After a little fumbling around, I found the right direction to head to investigate the weird black tentacles. While heading that way, I ran into two merfolk, a gong, and Denali. I found a new area to clear chasing after the merfolk, but my sight doesn't seem as strong here, so I surfaced to head to the caverns. When I got to the top, Ling was there and super excited. She'd seen the merfolk before and wants to work on a better suit for me so that I might understand what they are saying. I headed into the caverns to get the ore and try for the bottom. I made it to level 38, but time was running out, so I have to start back at level 35 tomorrow. I did get a lot of ore, so maybe I can smelt enough to get some upgrades processing. That night, I leveled up in ranching to level 3 and overall felt like it was a super productive day. I started off day 37 doing those morning chores and putting some silver in the furnace to smelt. I don't have enough money for an upgraded tool, but I have things to drop off at the temple, things to get broken open at the blacksmith's, and maybe I can gather enough money for an upgrade. I was having a great day and ran to talk to Pablo, then he told me some weird shit about Brooke's sports bra. What the fuck? Maybe I should be looking at the other brother, the quieter one, Raphael. I ran to the museum in my anger and donated the 50th item. Scott was ready to start his pick starter now. Maybe I should be looking at Scott as a romantic partner instead. I think I really need a backup boyfriend. It's time to buy more coconut drinks and pass them around town to butter everyone up. I emptied my pockets at home, and then I headed for the caverns. I was a little gutted when I realized there's no elevator at level 35, so I have to start at level 30. Once again, I was able to rescue a giant, the water giant, as the time was ticking down to the very last minutes of the day. Gong was freed, but I swear these guys are keeping a secret from me. Only the wind giant to release now, but there's still the 4th cavern to explore after that. I leveled up to mining level 6 today. I really need to upgrade my tools for that next cavern type. Ling was waiting for me at my door on day 38. She had the new diving suit all ready for me, so I can understand the merfolk when they talk to me now. I took care of my morning chores, discovered that naming my chest makes the names visible when I walk by them. Then I headed into town to the blacksmith. On my way, I noticed Pufferfish seems to be growing roots. I went inside, but Karen seems to be ignoring what's happening around her. I stopped by and gave Pablo and Raphael a gift, then opened up my geodes. I proceeded to take a trip to the museum with all of my new finds. I remembered I could get a pet today, so I looked at the town hall to see what was going on there. And I was able to adopt Fizz, a sweet pup I'd been saying hi from the fence a few times a week. Since I was there, I also said hi to everyone in the building and read up on some of the things in the library, an attempt at boosting my skills, if you will. I took a quick dive into the caverns, gathering the last of the bronze I need for tools, making it to level 5 in the new Wind Cavern. After I made it home, I worked on clearing more land. I need a better money source. I could get some more done with better tools. That night, I leveled up in foraging to level 4, combat level 4, and gained hearts with Frank and Raphael. I was woken up bright and early on day 39 to Connor and Millie bringing Fizz to my home. I'm not a dog person in real life, I love my cats, but I would make an exception for a large fluffy dog like Fizz. I pat Fizz, and then I had a lot of mail to check. The museum is ready to launch the pick starter. Someone wants to sell me potentially stolen goods after sundown, and the animal festival is tomorrow. I got a pet just in time. I stopped by the temple because some of my summer crops came in, then I was going to the museum. But I fast traveled to the beach and was caught up in a scene there. Nina was stung by a jellyfish, and Surya was going to pee on it. He got a little bit of performance anxiety though, and Shame came to save the day with her knowledge of vinegar. I made it to the museum fairly early, and we started the pick starter. I then went to the blacksmith's to upgrade my pickaxe, but I saw a new option to ask Pablo to hang out, so we went for a little picnic by the temple. When we got back, I encountered a bug in the game where all the lights were off, but I've been here enough to sort of be able to get myself out of the building. I decided to forage today because I need money. My pick is being upgraded, and my scythe isn't very strong for the ocean level that I'm on. That's when I found the last summer offering I needed and opened the last offering altar at the temple. I finished the day foraging and selling things for more cash. I did try to find the shop after dark on a Thursday, but it didn't work for me, so maybe I read it wrong. I gained hearts with Fizz, Lily, and Sunny today. Day 40. Today is the Animal Festival day. I woke up, pat Fizz, and checked the mail. Scott says the pick starter was fulfilled in one day. I got my morning chores done, kicked some coconut trees. Since the beach shack is open today, dropped off my bug net for an upgrade. I like that more than one tool can be upgraded at a time. I went straight for the Animal Festival after the beach. Right off, I saw Ben with Fun Bucket, a cute little duck with a bucket hat. I love it. Raphael was also super cute at the festival, and Scott dropped some hint about wanting a big yard. Is every character a backup boyfriend at this point? After talking to everyone and all the pets, I started playing games. I think I did a pretty good job on the bull ride. What's the world record for the Coral Island bull? After that, Chimichanga and I took on the chicken stare down competition. We won the first round, but failed in the second round against Elvis. Next, I went looking for Fizz. I can't be here celebrating without him. We practiced the pat race, and I'm honestly not sure I understand the mechanics of it, but we jumped right in. On the first round, we came in third. We almost had second. Because of our third place finish, we were knocked out of the brackets. Since I don't have a cow yet, I can't compete in the cow competition, so for me, the Animal Festival was over. It was so much fun, and a super cute way to spend my day. I spent the remaining energy I had clearing trees from the farm before bed. I earned 140 merit points today. I need to go see what I can get with those again. And I gained hearts with Bree, Charles, Eleanor, Randy, and Scott. I don't know, Pablo seems to be dropping out of my lineup more and more. On day 41, I started just like any other day. My corn grew in time for delivery to Mark, so I needed to find him soon to get that to him. I went to check out what Merritt could buy, and with 500 merit points, I can up a skill. Since fishing is my least favorite, I haven't even reached level 1 yet. So I bought a fishing elixir to bump that up. I also reached 60 items in the museum on this day, and my reward was a lot of explosives. Since my pickaxe is finished, I think it's a sign to head to the caverns. I mined away in the caverns, but really didn't get very far. I did get a lot of gold ore though, and I sold enough things to put my scythe in for the next upgrade tomorrow. Day 42, I thought I would head to the blacksmith's, but I forgot that it's Sunday. And they aren't open. I went by the beach shack and picked up my new net, then bought some more coconut drinks to pass out to a few people at town. I did find Pablo at the cavern entrance. You know, I never see him go inside the caverns. I think I need more bronze, and these caverns are rough. The bombs would help a lot. I could make some more with silver ore too. I did make it to level 15 in the wind cavern. I gained hearts with Dippa and Mark today. I woke up and got my chores done on day 43. I went to get my tools upgraded. I'm hoping to make enough money from Sam to get 2 tools going today. Sam got me close, but not quite there. Pablo might cut me a deal or find something nice for me in my stash of geodes. I found my first amethyst in this game. I want to keep it, but I know Scott will take care of it for me. Pablo didn't cut me any deals on the sale of my coal to him, so off to the museum and the beach shack I went. I was able to scavenge a few things off the beach until I reached 2,000 coins and left my fishing pole for an upgrade. I decided to forage for things for the rest of the day and use my new bug net. I went home around dark and worked on the farm some more. I'm tempted to spend one whole day clearing the farm once I have all of my tools back. I think I have a lot of resources right now. I should look at how much a barn and cow are going to cost me. I earned some merit points in the night for running the errand for Mark. Interestingly, Dinda and Joko sent me a letter inviting me to upgrade my house on the morning of day 44. I will need to cook at some point, and I want to know how much a barn costs, so I think I will head over there today. I got a little lost on the way and stopped by the Band of Smiles, but eventually I made it to the Carpenters. I knew I wouldn't have enough money for anything, but I also need more bronze, so I think I need to head for those caverns again. I thought I would fast travel around the island and found myself watching Archie, Taco, and Gong dancing together. Gong is sad the other humans can't see him, but he's coming up with a plan. I spent my time mining today. First in the earth cavern to dig up more bronze, and once I found 20 more pieces, I was off to the watering cavern for more silver. My pockets are full of things for the temple, blacksmith, and museum now. I gathered another heart with Pablo today. He's making sure I don't forget him amongst all these lovely single people. On day 45, my scythe and fishing pole were ready for pickup. I think after chores and errands, that means it's time to get into the ocean once again. I got my chores done fast since it was raining, but I found Chimichanga sick in his coop. I have to see if the ranch is open to help. The ranch was open, and he did have medicine for me there. Since I was there already, I bought a duck and named her Elote. The ranch medicine did the trick, and Chimichanga is good to stare at other chickens another day. I ran my errands after that, visited the temple, then Pablo, and got my geodes broken open, then the museum, and the beach shack. My pockets were full, so I ran home before diving into the ocean. I found 3 more orbs. And opened an area that looks like maybe someone's home. Then the bot kicked me out because it was too late to keep diving. I leveled up to level 4 in diving and can make a dehydrator now. I realized on day 46 that I've been neglecting my craftables, that there are a few new machines I could really be using, or at least have duplicates of. Scott mailed me to tell me he had raised 4 times the amount needed, and he would let me know when the grand opening for the new museum is. Gong asked if I could help him gather some missing supplies for his big plan. I will do my best. Jack informed me about animal medicine. Day too late, but now I have a spare. I set up all the new machines and then I headed to the temple and the blacksmith and the museum. These runs are taking so long, it seems like a wasted day, but I will work on clearing the farm today instead of heading for the ocean. This farm is so big. I don't think I've played a game where I'm still clearing the land this late into the playthrough. That means there's a lot of decorating potential. Day 47, I got my chores done fast and found my first duck egg. After dropping it at the temple, I headed for the beach and the diving dock. I realized today I can now fast travel to the merfolk world. I found 3 more orbs today. 3 seems to be the sweet spot for a day's worth of cleanup. I think the one area I have opened for fast travel is open because I have finished clearing that area. That makes gathering bronze kelp a little easier for me. I leveled up to farming level 5 on this day and can make some decent fertilizer now. Glad I got those composters up and running. I made a fair amount of money today too. I think I can get a barn built, but I want to put it in the far right corner of my farm, and that needs to be cleared first. There was some kind of disturbance in the night, and in the morning, my neighbor was begging for eggs. Such a stressful way to start day 48. On my way to the coop, I found a meteor on my land. I had a bunch of bronze ore, so that was great. I spent the whole day clearing my land. The carpenter wasn't open today, so I stayed home and worked. On day 49, I ordered a barn and a silo. I didn't know I could order 2 things at once. After I placed my orders, I went around filling quests and errands for others. I needed an egg for Erica and a hibiscus for Walter. Then I stopped by the giant village to talk about Gong's plans. When I got back to my house, I started laying out my new farm plan, but let me tell you, I'm not sure I am counting things right. Day 50 was spent much like day 49. I ran off to the carpenters to move my coop. I moved the fence to the same area, freeing the flock for the day. Then I dove into the ocean to gather more bronze kelp. I finished off the day making 50 of the wrong floor tiles, then made 50 of the right tiles so I can keep lining up my plan. I leveled up to level 5, foraging in the night, getting the wooden arch blueprint that I really wanted. Paul asked me to stop by and take care of a fallen log in his yard on day 51. I set off there first thing in the morning. After that, I took my harvest to Sam's and purchased the next backpack upgrade. I finally feel like we have a semi-steady income. I do need to try some of the other seeds and saplings, but it's getting late into summer. I ended my day clearing the ocean and finding one more orb. They're getting harder and harder to find and activate. I took care of my chores on this day 52 and set the mayo to processing, then went to see how much a cow cost. I'm about 500 short from getting a cow, but maybe soon. After the trip to the ranch, I headed to the blacksmith, killing time by picking and handing out flowers along the way. When I got to Pablo's, he's all set and ready to open geodes and coffers for me. I headed back into the ocean this day, finding 2 more orbs and a huge fish. Apparently, the translation gear I have doesn't work for the big fish. The bot kicked me out of the water when it was too dark and I headed to bed. I reached level 4 in ranching today, gained a heart with Fizz, and made enough money to buy a cow in the morning. Watch the ranch be closed tomorrow. Scott was ready and waiting for me on the morning of day 53. It is opening ceremony day for the improved museum. He wanted to pick me up so we could go together. Is this a date? Oh, but Scott forgot something, so I guess our date will have to wait. I went ahead to the museum where Scott is now late. The new Founders area looks beautiful, but I need to go by and have a real look at the place. Scott got me a new tool for fossils and torn pages. There was a moment there where maybe Millie was getting a little friendly with my backup man, but that passed quickly. I went up to the ranch to buy myself a cow and named her Carne Asada. Then I was off to break things with Pablo before swinging by Scott's museum to fill it with more pretty items. On my way to Pablo's, though, I overheard Anne yelling at Paul. He had missed her birthday. Good thing I'm not romancing him. I continued on my way, and Pablo did a smashing job for me. The museum, however, looks so neat. The insectarium is pretty cool. From there, I went to the Founders Room. Over 20,000 people backed Coral Island, and I'm proud to say that I was a backer. I love how the game has developed over time, and love that I get to share it all with you now. Is this an okay time to ask you to like and subscribe? From the Founders Room, I went to the aquarium, and oh my gosh, I love the jellyfish walkway. After that experience, I dropped a few things off from the temple, then decided it was time for more cavern mining. I made it past level 20, but 20 was the last elevator I saw, so I will have to pick back up there later. I did level up to level 7 in mining today, so that's great. The morning of day 54 was a rainy day, and Paul sent me a message asking for help with his wife. He won some tea. And honestly, I haven't seen any in this game yet, so that's a tough one for me to solve. I had another letter telling me that tomorrow is the annual beach cleanup day. I'm actually looking forward to this one. I was able to get my first milk from Carne Asada, and then I went to the giant village. I talked to Gong and enchanted a couple of my tools with the extra artifacts that I had. I had been selling the extras, forgetting I should be using them in the giant's village. After that, I was yearning for the mines, so back into the caverns I went. I entered on level 20. I had good enough luck for a few levels, not having to go far or fight much as I descended deeper. I kept getting closer and closer as hole after hole appeared. I began to worry about my time and used all of my silver ore for explosives to get through the last levels quicker. It wouldn't be a successful cavern dive without getting to the cursed tablet at the very last minute and racing the clock to get to the freed giant at the entrance above. The wind giant let it slip. That fire was also trapped somewhere. Now I have one more cavern to search. But was the fire giant the reason they were frozen in stone to begin with? Day 55 is beach cleanup day. I got my chores completed, dropped off a gym at the temple, and realized the lab is closed today. Then I set out for the beach and cleanup festival. I tried to swim and swam well in the practice round, but I guess I had a side cramp because the real race was a bust. Now tug of war seemed like something I could handle. except for my broken space key on my keyboard that likes to fall off a lot during my live streams over on Kick. I managed to make it work though, and my team did in fact win. After making sure I talked to everyone, the cleanup began. We did a great job clearing the water and making it safer for our ocean neighbors. When it was over, I continued the cleanup spirit at home until it was time for bed. I gained some merit points from the festival that night, and of course, got a lot of hearts from chatting with everyone that was there. It is the last day of summer, and it's raining on day 56. I got my chores finished, picked the last crop of summer produce, then took a couple of things to the temple. I figured I probably need to try and fish today in case there is some summer-only fish. I needed more bait and stopped at the beach shack to find Wataru and Waku having a meal together. Wataru wasn't being all that nice, and the more I pay attention to Waku, the more I like him. Did you notice his hair changed color? And he loves stars. Since I was at the beach shack, I picked up more coconut water drinks to hand out around town. Drinks are on me. I stopped to check on my two favorite boys, and they invited me out to pool. Honestly, it was weird. Pablo was flirting with Yuri and playing with Scott, ignoring me and Raphael. I really don't know about this current boyfriend, but it might be too late for me to switch. I fished a bit more, getting some new-to-me fish from the river and the lake, and then I went home to collect firewood, since I was wet and cold. And that ends my first summer on Coral Island. That night I reached level 1 in fishing. I also gained hearts with Suki and Yuri. Day 57 on the first day of fall, an asshole named Bobby was on my doorstep. He prattled on and on about my farm and some competition and that Jeff Smith that I haven't even met yet. I think he called me a pain in the ass too, but then he mentioned his daddy and I knew he's some poor spoiled trust fund baby here to just posture. I took care of clearing all the old plants and prepping the ground for new ones. Then I went into town to buy the fall seeds and a passion fruit tree. While I was there, I also dropped off some things to the temple, opening the museum fast travel option, which I promptly used. I spent all afternoon and evening working on beautifying my farm and getting it closer to where I want it to be. I spent more time on my farm on day 58. I did step out to get a meal ordered at the carpenter's place, and while I was out, handed out a couple of the coconut drinks I had in my pockets. Then it was back to work. I cleared debris and trees while laying out where I want my fruit trees to go from now on. Somehow my count is one tile off. I hope it doesn't come back to get me later. I gained hearts with Dinda, Joko, and Kenny today from my refreshments. Day 59 started with a weird message asking me to meet someone on the beach tomorrow night. I hope it's one of my boyfriends. I spent one last day clearing and mapping my farm. I'm going to leave you here with a time lapse of the remaining work on my farm. At the end of this day, I took a break from the game, filled out a map spreadsheet on how I want the farm to look. I thought I had a plan, but it wasn't working out the right way, so I took to the drawing board and now I'm ready again. I started day 60 cleaning up a few spaces where I was off on my counts. Once things were lined up better, I headed out to give Valentina my last sunflower. Then I remembered it's Raphael and Eleanor's birthdays. I ran into a couple of cutscenes about the school and the young kids as I made my way through town. I managed to get a gift to Raphael, but I couldn't get Eleanor to come out of her room. When I gave up, I realized I had missed my secret date on the beach. I did catch up with Mike at the tavern though. That night, I gained a heart with Ben, Oliver, and Raphael. Today, day 61, the mayor reminded me about the Harvest Festival coming up. I started saving some of my items for that. When my daily chores were completed, I decided it was time to try out the newest cavern. I was doing okay until level 7. I pretty much had to clear the whole thing to get to level 8, and I was out of energy by that point. When I came up, Mark was there coaxing a puppy out of the weeds. The way he likes and cares for animals almost makes up for him calling me a garden rake all the time. I have been further into the caverns than him at this point, and I think more respect is due. I went home after that, leveling up to level 5 combat in my sleep. On day 62, I did my regular chores this morning, then decided to hit the ocean today. I feel like when I spend time in the ocean, I still get a good return on money from scavenged things. So I found 2 orbs, activated 1, but came home with a full backpack of items to donate, offer, or sell. That night, I gained a level in diving and a new chest recipe. Maybe that has more space in it. I want to get a shed soon so I can really organize my things. I was back in the ocean on day 63. I managed to activate 2 orbs on this day and met a seal-looking being. Some of the seaside here looks like curated farms. I have a whole load of things for the blacksmith after today. Day 64, I woke up with almost enough money for a shed, so I took the morning crops over to Sam's and sold them there. My next stop was the carpenters, and for some reason while I was there, I went into their room and read a private letter. I guess I was feeling like snooping around today. I ordered the new shed, and then I went off to snoop through the winery since I haven't been there yet. Once my curiosity was satisfied, I figured I should forage today, and of course swing by the blacksmith to chat and get all of these things broken up. After the blacksmith, I tried the lab, but I was really not having much luck with these fossils. I wandered upon Scott and a few others trying to move a couch. I loved the nod to Friends with this pivot scene. Up next was a fast travel to the museum and dropping off my 100th item. I got some fish tacos for a reward. I foraged and bug caught for the rest of the evening. I found a few new items to donate and offer up, but I think I will start being more purposeful with those visits, so I made a chest for those items instead of taking them directly. I leveled up to catching level 3 in the night. I can craft a bee house now, and ground insect traps sound interesting. I gained a heart with Scott on this day as well. I think that might put him right up there with Pablo. On day 65, I picked my first amaranth crop, as well as an orchid. I put the amaranth into the mill to make flour and kept some back for the Harvest Festival. After the morning chores, I ran for the caverns. Pablo was there and he told me that Raphael likes obsidian. I don't think I've come across that yet, but I will keep it in mind. I wanted to get into the mines and gather up 60 bronze ore. No reason, other than I need a couple for beehives, but 60 seemed like a good amount. I worked away until I was tired, gathering 56 pieces. I went home from there, tired, filthy, but happy, and made 2 beehives and put some orchids in for honey. Orchids are worth $130 each, so we will see if those are worth putting in the beehives or not. I went to bed after that, calling it an early night compared to most of the evenings. Day 66 was a day for errands. After my morning chores on the farm, I took Earth Essence to Joy in the Band of Smiles. Then an eggplant to Raj. I figured Raj's shop must sell green tea, and I was right, so I took that to Paul. I ran around chatting with people and foraging since most of my day was gone after those errands. I realized this day that I have never been in the bathhouse, so I stepped in for a quick dip. I really just wanted to see all the animals that were visiting there. I caught a few bugs and then I headed home. I hate going to bed with so much energy though, so I fished a little at home for profits. I got a couple merit points from completing errands for others today. I also gained a heart with Raj. I didn't even give him much of a chance to begin with, but he might be an interesting person to romance. I raised enough money I should probably upgrade a tool tomorrow if the blacksmith or beach shack are open. I remembered on day 67 to get my tools upgraded. I grabbed the things I needed and dropped my axe off to be silvered. I really want to get into the ocean again today, so I think I will. I love mining in most games, but I think I like the ocean in this game the most. I wanted to be a marine biologist growing up until I took an oceanography class my sophomore year and was completely terrified to dive in the kelp forest. I could not handle not being able to see on the other side of the kelp. So my Lisa Frank-inspired dreams were squashed. But Coral Island is out here letting me live that life safe and warm in my office. I cleared 3 orbs while I was diving today. I didn't get to activate all 3 though. The bot made me leave before I could do that. I found a few new things to take to the museum while I was down there though. I do feel like my scythe isn't working as great anymore and maybe I need to work on that upgrade. But it costs 10,000 gold, and I don't think I've even had that in my count all at once yet. When I got to the house, I found that the orchid honey was ready for sale and I made 505 coin each off of those. So worth processing those to honey in my opinion. I grew my first papayas on the morning of day 68. Emma had requested 2, so I decided to run some errands today. I dropped things off at the temple and realized I had 2 more items for offerings at home somewhere. Headed to the lab to get my fossils broken open, then to the blacksmiths for the geodes and coffers. Once all of those were done, I dumped a big load at the museum for Sam to sort through. After running back and forth to the temple a few times, I went in search for Emma. I did not mistake Emily for Emma, I swear. When I found Emma, I realized it's pretty hard to interact with her when she's working. I figured I could try to fish up arapaima that I was missing for the request, while I waited for Emma to get off work. Once I delivered my papayas, I went on to try another river, but all I was getting there was salmon, so I tried the river near my house. Still no luck, but I have a few new fish for donations now. I leveled up my ranching skill to level 5 today, gained a heart with Shame and Emma, and went to bed feeling pretty productive. Day 69 was a special day. Weirdly, I was going to make a joke about my axe and hardwood, but I started the day with a taco cutscene that we 100% have already have before. This cutscene is the one that set Gong into motion trying to come among the humans in disguise. Very odd. I got my morning chores done, picked up my fish for the museum so I could drop them off on my way to the blacksmith, and pick up my shiny new axe. Now to save for the scythe upgrade. Then, the pickaxe. I went to the giant village to try and add another enchantment to my axe, and even here, I was given the Gong cutscene again. My Coral Island matrix is glitching. After ignoring all the weird conspiracy things happening around me, I went back into the ocean. I completed the orb that I had found and hadn't activated yet, then I cleared until I found one more. I realized I must have missed an area when I was looking at the map and trying to figure out where to go next. I found it, but I also saw that it seems like I only have 2 more orbs to clear in this section before I can move on. I freed 1 sweet beluga whale and they gifted me my first gold kelp. Not enough to start the next upgrade, but getting closer and closer. I gained a heart with my good old pal Fizz today. My first pumpkin grew in on day 70. I have a few pumpkin-related errands to run and really need to remember to visit Sam's for more seeds more often. I need to grow some rice for the offerings. I took the pumpkin to the temple while I waited for all my neighbors to get up. I then delivered a pumpkin to Bree for her recipe. It just so happened to be her birthday too, so I gave her a flower. I ran to the blacksmith next, hoping to catch Raphael there, but he had already left home. I said hi to Pablo, then went running for the other brother. With all my pumpkins delivered, I bought seeds from Sam, cutting into my tool budget a bit, but I think it's for a good cause. Once all the seeds were planted in the ground, I thought I would try to finish the last 2 orbs in the ocean, and I did. I was able to see the kingdom underwater just before the bot made me leave the ocean world. That night I gained a heart with Bree and Luke, a nice mother-son tag team, I think. Day 71 is the Harvest Festival. I really wanted to dive back into the ocean, but now I feel like I have to wait until tomorrow for that. Time to clean up the farm and take my produce into town. When I went outside, Luke was there. With all his stammering, I thought he was there to ask me on a date, but it turns out Taco's missing. It's so sad. I promised I would keep an eye out for Taco. I quickly got my chores done, then gathered up all my goods for the festival. On my way over, I thought I would check on Luke and show him what kind of friend I am. Taco is still not home, but I thought the beach might be a good place to look. I used my fast travel powers to hit the beach. Sure enough, there he was, playing in the waves and having a good time. Luke found us there and invited me over to his place sometime. It sounds fun, but I need to head off for that Harvest Festival now. I need to put that whiny farmer in his place. I raced for the festival only to find it's not open for another 8 hours. Maybe I do have time for the ocean after all. I dove in to explore the underwater city, and there was a man, a shark man, named Semaru. Can I have a land daddy and a sea daddy? Because I want him. But I don't think there's enough time to romance him at this point. I need some consensual polyamorous relationship in these kinds of games. Even Deno is a badass looking mermaid with her lionfish-like tail. Perfect for a merfolk warrior. I honestly love that all the merfolk have volcanoes for names and makes it so much easier for me to look up how to pronounce them. Following some tense interactions with the guards and Denali's help, I went ahead into the Naga kingdom to meet the king and the small council of merfolk. There, Cho'oyu pronounced me as the chosen one. It seems I'm meant to do all the work for everyone in this corner of the world. There was some heated discussion, talks of throwing me out, and then a princess showed up to vouch for me as well. Finally, I was granted access to the whole ocean, and even given a room in the barracks if I want to stay there, thus completing my first goal of reaching the merfolk kingdom. As luck would have it, I'm living right next door to my shark daddy. Cho'oyu asked me to meet her at the Oracle Tower, so I sped over there hoping to see a bit more before I headed to the Harvest Festival. She granted me access to the underwater caves I had been seeing. I honestly couldn't figure out how to leave the kingdom, and since I knew I could place down an anchor in open water, I headed for the deep sea. And on my way there, the princess gave me my first stamina fruit. I raced from there to the festival, arriving a few minutes early. I spent some time talking to everyone at the festival and then decided it was time to place my items for judging. I think it looks like the beluga folk have silver quality crops and all of mine are gold. I hope I did this right. I bought a bunch of things from the shop, some new seeds, moon cakes, and trees. Next, I headed for smashing pumpkins. That is a fun game in my opinion, and I won first place getting 3 pumpkin pies. I then dominated at the apple bobbing minigame too. I think the Harvest Festival is my thing. I won an apple tree sapling and a few other apple themed goods from that. I finally met the renowned Mr. Jeff Smith today. He's some sort of famous farmer, so Waku says. It was great to put a face to the name. He ended up being our festival job, and somehow after judging and 0 diversity, Bobby won the festival? I don't understand this game. I left feeling defeated. I had a long day today and was really ready for my cozy bed with my sweet pup. That night I received merit points, leveled up to farming 6, got the keg and sprinkler 2 blueprints. Then I gained hearts with many of my neighbors, including getting to 5 hearts with Pablo. I really don't know if I want him though. I'm leaning more and more towards shy, unsure, and handsome Raphael. Day 72, I knew I needed to make my ranch even better. I planted all my new trees. The apple tree is a little frustrating. I put my new crop seeds in the ground and looked into the new machines that I need. I just remembered that my shed should be done, and probably I can move my machines to it. But I type up these summaries at the end of every day, so that's a tomorrow thing. To get a keg and cheese press and sprinkler, I need a few more resources. I set some ore to smelting, and then I headed to the ocean to collect some of those things. While I was there, I found 2 more orbs in the deep sea area. I found more gold kelp and a few of the offering items I need for the temple. I worked well into the night, and the bot didn't kick me out at 11 p.m. this time because now I can stay underwater. But honestly, traveling out with the anchor and home seems to be faster than trying to make it to the barracks in time. Plus, I still need to care for my farm. Maybe as I grow, I can get more of the automated systems in place. Also, who would pat Fizz? That night, I leveled up to diving 6 and made a little bit of coin towards the next tool upgrade. I spent day 73 cleaning up my machine yard and moving all of the storage and machines to the shed that I had forgotten about. Instead of moving all the sea items, I dumped a huge load in the shipping bin and made 5k money in the night. I'm really close to being able to get a tool upgrade, so I think I will try to make that happen tomorrow. I will leave you with a quick time lapse of me running around the farm for the day. I worked my farm, pet my animals, picked my produce, and set my machines to work getting all of my morning chores done on day 74. Then I went to the blacksmith's to open some of my coffers, and Pablo asked a question about dating me. Pablo, I would have loved a date last season, but now I'm not so sure. I ran around all day running errands, dropping off offerings, uncovering fossils, donating things to the museum. I got a whole new bedroom set from Scott at the museum today. I did realize I need more hardwood to make my tools work, so I need to figure out how to pick that up. Maybe I can buy 3 or more and upgrade my axe first? Since I couldn't move forward much from there, I decided to head to the caverns because I was going to need more ore. When I got to the caverns, I was ambushed by slimes from within. Zara helped me out, which is odd, considering I'm fairly certain I'm stronger than she is, and I've never seen her in the caverns or the Band of Smiles. I trucked my way through 5 levels of the fire cavern, reaching level 10 and the next elevator stop. I picked up quite a bit of special purple ore, I can't remember the name right now, and managed to level up to mining level 8 today. On day 75, I spent my morning doing the usual work, adding things to my new machines, and then I headed off to the caverns again. I made it all the way down to level 20 and got a new sword. The sword actually isn't more powerful than my hammer. I'm beginning to wonder if I ended up with an OP hammer early in the game. I need to look into hardwood tomorrow. Hopefully, if I type this into my script, I will remember to do it. The morning of day 76, one of my chickens was sick, but the ranch was closed, so I ran around all day looking for animal medicine for him. I stopped by the temple and the blacksmith since I was in town. Then I realized I forgot about the carpenters. Luckily, they were closed today anyways, so it wasn't a big deal that I had forgotten. I got back to the house, healed up my chicken, and when I went to put more flowers in the beehive, I found that Fizz had learned a new trick, his very own disappearing act. I went for the ocean after that, diving and activating 1 orb, before I lost track of time and almost passed out down there. I made it home just in time, and during the night I gained a heart with Archie and Charles. On day 77, Fizz has completely disappeared from my game. So I restarted my game to see if that helps. It did help. Fizz is back and I'm ready to play some more. It's a rainy day, so I want to head into the caverns and see about selling ore. First though, I need to take care of all of my machines. I am an artisan master now. I finished up a lot of jars for sale, then headed underground. Once I was there, I remembered I wanted to try and buy hardwood and upgrade my pick. I grabbed 1 vein of the purple ore I can't name and left. This way I can see how much it's worth, but I really don't want to waste the time with a slow pick. I stopped to talk to Kenny for a bit, helped him wrangle a cow, but then I was back on my way to the carpenter's house. I helped out Surya at Dinda's house with fixing a TV. Then it was finally my turn for help. Turns out, they don't sell hardwood, so I went to looking up how to get it. I found a log near the waterfall that I could break, and that gave me 5. By this time, it was too late in the day. The blacksmith had closed. I did see that I can also blow up logs on my ranch. Of course, I'm going to play with explosives. I have 20 hardwood pieces now. I checked the ledger for sales that night, and the osmium ore sells for 150 each. It would be a good moneymaker in a pinch for fast cash, but a lot of my artisan goods sell for higher, like the orchid honey. Again, on day 78, I got the weird dancing with taco and gong scene. I feel like I'm stuck in some kind of loop. Maybe if I fulfill one of Gong's requests, it will stop. I stocked all of my machines, then headed for the blacksmith's to drop off my pickaxe. Up next will be the scythe. I talked to Pablo for a bit too. I like that he now asks questions about me. Maybe it's time for another round of drinks for everyone. I started handing out my favorite drinks until Raj flagged me down. He must have caught wind that I'm not passing out his coffee. I'm just not a fan of it, okay? His coffee isn't cheap. It's interesting that Raj is concerned about the business when most of the time other people are running it while he's lounging in the grass. I wandered around all day, handing out drinks and getting new cutscenes. When I was in the town hall, I went ahead and dumped some merit points in the bin for another fishing elixir. I went through fish and sips and handed out drinks, then spent my evening foraging and bug hunting. I did save one last drink for Raphael and gained 1 fishing skill point that night, a heart with Antonio, and made a little bit of money. On the morning of day 79, I got the last autumn offering item I needed, a bronze quality rice. I sped over and dropped it off first thing. I then went back home to gather up all of my things for sale and to go upgrade my bug net, only to find the beach shack was closed. You would think at some point I would remember to check the schedules. I do love the way the town looks though. It's the week of Halloween IRL when I'm recording this, so all of the fun Halloween vibes made me happy to see. I processed some fossils in the lab, checked out their new tech that I'm sure I can't afford anytime soon, and then dropped off more things to the museum. I then took a few minutes to read the new books in the library before heading to find Raphael. I continued foraging and then fished up a sardine. I thought I would swing by the inn and found a group telling ghost stories and felt like I should hang out and hear them. I went home soon after and found that the town rank had risen to rank D. I don't think I ever set a town rank goal, but reaching C by the end of the year would be nice. I gained 400 more merit points and many new hearts. On the morning of day 80, there was a huge impact that shook my farm. I'd like to investigate, but my pick is ready and I have 1 day to find an earth geode for Scott. When I walked outside, I saw exactly what had happened, but like I said, I don't have my pick yet. I retrieved my gold pick and proceeded to drop off my bug net. On the way, I found a cute father-daughter scene between Zoe and Paul. After that, I dove into the earth cavern to find Scott his geode. As soon as I found it, I ran it to him so I wouldn't miss out on completing the errand. I got a few more merit points for helping him out with that. I wandered the island more today and found a giant meteor I could break, but when I broke it, nothing was on the other side. I went home, dropped off more items in the shipping bid before bed. I'd like to upgrade my scythe next, so more funds would help. I gathered another heart with Scott as I slept since I had helped him today. My sweet enchilada was sick on this day, but I was already prepared to help her out. All of my trees were watered, and with the animals cared for, I was ready to head in to upgrade my scythe. I grabbed my coffers to have them processed since I was going to be there already, and then headed over. Pablo was actually smithing when I arrived. I don't think I've seen him work before today. He took my tool and my money and sent me on my way. I dropped off my new things at the museum, and then decided to head to the caverns to try to make some headway there. Today, I met my first Ombuto, and they hit hard. They are similar to a cave troll if I had to describe them to someone. I tried really hard to get to the bottom of the cavern, but that was ambitious since I had started on level 2. I made it to level 34 and had to go home. At least now I can head straight down from level 30 when I'm ready. I may even make more rope to get me there. After my morning routine on day 82, I headed for the beach shack to pick up my upgraded net. Then I planned to finish up the caverns. I went in a little earlier than usual today. I was determined to finish this cavern. If you notice, I try to stick to clusters of rocks that will have my rock domino effect activate, so I don't have to swing as often. I didn't use the rope as much, but when I felt like the level was taking too long, I did use a rope to get myself down. I made it to level 40 within the time for once, and we found the missing fire giant petrified there. He says a Gort fellow is the one who attacked all the giants. I am positive the chieftain is hiding something from me. I still have time today, so I'm going to see if I can get enough bat wings to offer the temple. I'm looking for the bat dudes and the fire caverns for those. I checked 2 floors and didn't have an ounce of luck. When I got to bed that night, I reached level 9 in mining and was given more explosive rights. On this day, I completed one more of my goals for the first 100 days. My scythe was done on day 83, so before I headed into whatever the giants had going on, I hit up the blacksmith as soon as they opened. I said hi to my current man, then went to meet the giants. Unfortunately, the first cutscene I got there was a repeat one about Gong wanting a disguise. Thankfully, that didn't keep the other cutscene from playing. The giants have given me the task of finding Savannah. Not sure if that's a place or a person, but somehow Gort is tied to it. For now, though, I want to work on things for the temple offerings. I do wish there was an easier way to see what offerings we have left, but we don't, so off to the temple I went. I need 1 king scallop from the ocean loot offering, a lot of fish, a sunflower sea star, silky fur, and bat wings from the caverns, a slew of recipes, and so many animal items. I think I need to buy a goat and then try the mines. I am not sure if I can even cook yet with my current house, so maybe a house upgraded is needed as soon as possible. I am short on the bronze needed to upgrade, so mining and combat is where I'm headed. First up, the earth cavern for silky fur and bronze. The drop rates are terrible in my opinion. I feel like I have a lot of what I don't need and not of the things I want for the offerings. I left the cavern with a lot of bronze, but only 2 more silky fur in my pocket. I gained more relationship with the chieftain today, and that's about it. Day 84, I bought a lamb and named her Barbacoa, and a cow that I named Fajita. I need to upgrade my barn and coop to get the other animals I need. Today is also the Halloween festival, so I will need to check in on that soon. I hope to put in for my house upgrade tomorrow once all of my ore has smelted into bars. I checked in on the new additions and someone tell me, is my lamb pink? I went to the beach to fish today trying to find the fish for the temple while I waited for the Halloween festival to begin. I caught a few for the museum but none for the temple. When the Halloween fest began, I headed straight in. I chatted with a few people and got right into playing the games. I got 2nd place in the Bonk the Skeleton, which I think is pretty good since I struggle with dashing. Next up was the ring toss, and I really didn't understand that one, but I managed to get 3rd place. I love that my Sanchez boys are some of the ones who helped to put all of this together, just solidifying their places in my heart. I do think it's weird all the islanders keep talking about their outfits but don't have anything different on. I was surprised to see the chieftain was there, but he blended in nicely with the giant decorations so no one seemed to notice. I did see a couple of real ghosts flitting in and out. I left mostly satisfied. I do wish the haunted house was a working activity. I only earned 40 merit points this time around, but I got a lot of hearts from my people and new recipes in my mailbox. I also leveled up my fishing today with the tiny amount that I did. And thus ends Fall Year 1. The morning of day 85, the chieftain gave me an architect's desk. I honestly have no idea what it is. I cleared my withered crops and ran around foraging to see what was new today. I stopped by Joko's to order my house upgrade, finally, and then I ran into a weird lover's spat between Walter and his lady, but don't really know what that was all about. I tried fishing for an arapaima now that it's cold, but no luck. Maybe in one of the other water types it would be better. Witnessing Walter's downfall somehow gained me a heart in his relationship status. Odd. On day 86, I bought some supplies for my animals. They needed a temperature machine and I needed some shears. Caring for the farm has gotten much slower and easier, but I hope I can keep making money through the winter. After taking care of them, I decided to head for the caverns for more offering items. I killed 12 of the caterpillars-looking monsters and did not get a single silky fur piece from them. Half the time, I didn't get a drop at all. I went home semi-empty-handed, if not for the bronze ore in my pocket. That night, I gained a heart with Jack from our chat earlier that morning. Who's Jack? Okay. Oh, the ranch guy. Day 87, I was ready for a break. I thought I would head into town and run errands today instead of mine and fight my way through the caverns. I stopped by the temple to drop something off, then tried to locate Surya for his errand, but I couldn't give him the milk he requested, so I gave up on that one. I would rather turn it into cheese to sell. Next was a stop at the blacksmith and getting things opened while I flirted a little with Pablo, followed by donating my 140th item to the museum and getting snowdrop seeds. Perfect for winter. With my pockets a little lighter, I jetted off to the labs for the fossils to be processed, getting a lot of different ones and reaching 150 things donated today as well. I am selling the rest of the bones on the black market. I can't always be good, okay? Since there was still time in the day, I headed back underground and finally got that 5th silky fur I needed. I tried going for the bat wings, but I only saw one and he didn't drop anything for me. I got the achievement for shipping more than 30 crops today and made quite a bit of money by dropping half of the day's osmium ore in the shipping bin. My kitchen was installed in the night before day 88. Soon I will need to hunker down and cook a feast to offer the goddess at her temple, but I don't think that will be today. I need to make a shopping list first. I headed back to the cavern for bat wings. This time I took ropes to skip down as soon as all the bat dudes in the level were killed. I still didn't get any drops until I reached level 20. 2 bat wings picked up today. I leveled up in ranching today, getting a loom, which is great since I have wool now. I also leveled up in combat today after all my hard work. Maybe one of the monster lures might help me out. Day 89 was spent in the caverns trying to find the rest of the bat wings. The bats are really few in number and they don't drop much. I have 3 so far and need 2 more. I did decide to dump all my osmium ore from the day in the shipping bin because the next house upgrade costs 40,000. On the morning of day 90, Charles was at my door being fishy. I found 1 bat wing still in my monster loot chest and then I went back to the caverns today, reaching mining level 10 but not getting the last bat wing that I needed. Finally, first thing in the morning on day 91, I got the last batwing for the offerings. Up next, it was time to put my newish scythe to work and start clearing more of the deep sea, looking for offerings there. I worked away at clearing the junk in the ocean. I think I found 2, maybe 3 orbs to activate. I also found some new museum items while I was down there. I was tired early though and went home to stock my machines and head to bed. I finally figured out how I can use the dehydrator this day. That might keep my lights on this winter. Fizz gained a heart with me today, and I almost made enough money for the next house upgrade. In the night leading up to day 92, something magical seemed to be in the air. I decided to stock the machines and then wander around town to see if I could spot the reason why I felt this way. I was quickly rewarded. Near my house, a new forest area seemed to have opened up. The area connects with a path to the cavern, and I picked up some new forageable items there. I then took a trip to the blacksmith and the labs to crack all these goodies open, stopping of course to talk to Pablo. I'm not sure getting married is actually going to work out for me in this playthrough, but with so many other goals working, I'm okay with that. With today's haul, I was able to donate 10 more items to the museum, bumping us up to the 160th item on display. With my remaining time and energy, I dove into the ocean. These areas are smaller and seem easier to clear, but maybe that's just because my scythe is upgraded. I found 3 more orbs before heading to bed on land. I did make enough money on this day to order the next house upgrade. Now I think it's time for barns and coops. I started my 93rd day off ordering that upgrade to the level 3 house. With all my chores done in the house upgrade in order, I decided to keep clearing the ocean for more items and money. Before I headed there though, I thought I would give the brothers a gift to keep growing my relationships with both. Outside their shop, I found a bug I could drop off at the temple, so I ran home to save it for a temple trip before donning my diving suit. I found 2 orbs in the ocean today. Kind of a slow day if you ask me, but it gave me time to contemplate the last days of winter and this first year. I think I want to keep tools and building upgrades going as much as possible, so I might stick to the caverns for money and ore. I did forget that there are now 2 caves in the ocean I want to look into, so I will do that tomorrow before I really set into upgrades the next day. I gained a heart with Joko today and headed to bed with a little extra money in my pockets. Day 94, I got my chores done. Come next year, I need more automated processes because the machines take a bit to sort out and load for the day. Glad all my crops are auto-watered now. I need to work on my heritage site grade. I was thinking maybe if I complete more of the giant quests, I can further that. So before I go into the ocean, I hunted 4 items for Gong to hide among the humans. Plus, that's the broke quest, and maybe I can clear that from happening over and over again. Luckily, the white flamingo has 2 of the items, and the others I need I can get from home. The wool I had forgotten to save, so that will take a couple of days. I went to check out the caves underwater, and I'm confused as to what those are for. I cleared the first one and half of the second one, and I don't understand why I'm clearing in there, so instead of wasting time, I headed to the caverns for osmium ore and money. I headed home a little early to gather up my ore and get them smelting and make a plan for the next tool upgrade. I have all the things to put in for an axe upgrade, so that'll be first. I need more glass to make the kelp essence. I don't have a kiln yet, so I need to hit up the earth cavern for bronze ore tomorrow. I did find I had over 200 pieces of osmium ore, so I dropped another 100 in the shipping bin, which came out to some major stonks. On the morning of day 95, I was able to drop off my axe for upgrades and open some things at Pablo's table. The goddess heard me and blessed me with more glass, so I ran home to process some essence, and then I was off to the lab for fossils processing. With everything processed and donated to where they needed to go, I headed into the caverns. First the earth for the bronze I needed until I could make a kiln, then into the fire for osmium so I can sell it. Now I have enough supplies to upgrade my hoe and my fishing pole. I'd like to upgrade my coop soon too, but I need my axe back to get more hardwood for that. My house was bigger on day 96. I'm pretty sure it's now big enough for someone to move in, if I was actually that far along in relationship with someone. For now, it's just me and Fizz. I got all my chores finished quickly, and then I went to the beach shack to have them upgrade my dreaded fishing pole. After that, I went into the ocean. I have a bit of money in my pockets and would rather spend the time in there. I found 4 orbs to activate down in the depths and barely made it home in time. I still find heading all the way home to be a faster way to get to sleep than heading to the Merkingdom barracks, so I haven't spent much time in there yet. I leveled up to level 7 diving today and can make a solar panel now. I'm not really sure what that's used for. I worked on all my machines on day 97 until I had enough glass to make a solar panel. So now I'm making batteries on my farm too. I then visited my 2 favorite guys and picked up my axe. Time to find hardwood. I left my hoe for its first upgrade on this day. After flirting a bit, I headed off to that wooded section near my house and found 2 downed logs, and then 2 more on my farm to chop up. I'm pretty sure I can upgrade the coop now. I also decided to take a long way to the diving docks and ran into Macy, so I stopped to help her take some photos for a minute before I dove in and found 1 more orb underwater. I made it home in time to realize I had gained a heart with Eleanor and Pablo today. On day 98, my fishing rod and hoe were ready for pickup. I think I'm going to try and put in 1 more tool and get that coop upgrade. After my chores, of course. I took the long way through the smaller magical forest area and found more hardwood for chopping. When I got to Dinda, I realized I had enough to do a barn upgrade, so I grabbed that instead of the coop. My boys betrayed me on this day. Even though my hoe was done, no one was working to give it to me. I'm sure they both love me enough I should have been able to just pick it up. I was able to pick up my fishing pole though and dropped off my net for the next upgrade. After that, I was yearning for the mines and the riches I could find there. I arrived at the cavern and found Pablo there. I decided to invite him on a fishing date before mining. I like that the date option does use a little bit of your daily time. And when we were done, I had one chub in my pockets. I went into the mines to make some money, and that night I leveled up to foraging 6, and I can make a mushroom log now, so of course I'm going to try and get some made in the morning. Day 99, I ran around all day gathering my tools and dropping off others. I need more hardwood, but I think tomorrow I can put in for a coop upgrade and my net again. I finished out my evening in the cavern for ore, but ended early so I could beautify the new mushroom section on my land. I do think I need to spend some time at home cooking soon, but I honestly don't know what that entails. You would think this is the last day of the playthrough, but not in this Minecraft server. We'll be headed on to finish the year out. Bonus content! My bug net and watering can were done on day 100 and ready for pickup. I also got the last piece of wool that I needed to help the giants with their disguise. So we took a quick trip into town. And Connor met my cousin Handsome. I got a real kick out of that for sure. With that out of the way, I went to pick up the morning wood. And then off to Denda's to order the coop upgrade. Pablo was off today, so I asked him to take a bath at the hot springs since he hates the cold so much. I thought it might cheer him up. I'm not sure if that means I can pick up my tools today though. When I made my way back around to the blacksmith's, I found Raph and Pablo having a discussion. Raphael says everyone forgets about him and oops. I definitely didn't stop dating him so that I could speed up my relationship with Pablo. Nope. I didn't know what to do with myself for the rest of the day. I completed a couple of errands and some busy tasks, tried to line up my next upgrades, and went to bed. I honestly was having so much lag on this day, it was almost unplayable. I figured I will shut down the game and see if I need some updates and then try again. That night, I gained hearts with Gong and Grog. Even trying to save my game took a lot of effort, and I was worried I was about to lose all of my progress from this day. I loaded back into the game, and there was still some lag on day 101. I'm worried, but I'm going to keep trying to push through. I took care of my chores, gathered some hardwood for the morning, and stopped by the ranch to purchase a goat I named Cabrito. With those things done, I headed to pick up my tools and drop off new ones. I started at the blacksmith where I dropped off my hoe and chatted with Pablo. He told me he wants mundane in his love life. I really don't think this is the guy for me, y'all. I ran around working on the museum and temple offerings again today. I didn't have enough money to leave my fishing pole at the shack, but maybe in the morning. Today is the first day of Winter Festival, so I made sure to stop over, talk to everyone, and play some games. I got second place in the curling event and only 15 points behind first. The fishing game really proved how much I suck at and dislike fishing. I got third place overall. After that, I took on the asshole Bobby and beat him down nicely in a match of the pattern game. I even got a new seedling. Next on the shooting game, I took second. It would seem Archie is a pro at most of these games. He's always in first place. I ran around shopping and bought some hot chocolates to hand out. I think I found a favorite food of Mark's while I was doing that. Then I figured out how to play trivia and won the farming trivia game, of course. I found the foraging trivia to be much harder, but still came away with third place for the night. I thought the artisan trivia would also be difficult, but somehow made it out in first. All of a sudden I realized what time it was and had to race off and leave like Cinderella at the ball. I couldn't let them see me after midnight. I got a few more merit points tonight with the completion of so many games. I gained a heart with Kenny and Mark, and then I realized I didn't record day 101 at all. So you'll just have to take my word for it. On this morning, thankfully I noticed my error and was able to film without missing more days. Day 102, I picked up my first crop of tea, dropped some off with Charles and the goddess. After that, I ran around town a bit, but the lag was terrible. I really think the added winter festival things is causing the game to have some troubles. I thought I would head into the ocean into the Winterfest time to see if things were working better there. I got one orb activated before 1700 and the time when festival begins. I was able to replay the foraging trivia since I didn't win that one last night, and I won this time. After that, I took another stab at all the games I didn't win, getting first in curling, second in magnet fishing, and second in shooting. I nearly forgot to gather hardwood this day, but I managed to get it done before it was too late. I gained some more merit points with my wins at the Winter Festival today, as well as hearts with Waku. With my chores done and machines stocked on day 103, I headed into town for my tools. I needed more silver ore and money to keep upgrades going. I also needed a new coop animal. I stopped at the ranch for a quail and named him Huevos Ranch, because such a small animal can't have a large name like Huevos Rancheros in this game. I picked up my hoe from the blacksmith and then headed into the caverns for ore. I really wanted to go diving, but I restrained myself from doing that. Inside the cavern, I caught Grog being fishy again. He says he's shy, but I really think they're hiding something. I traveled into the water caverns for the silver ore I needed, and then moved over to the fire caverns for that sweet, sweet osmium ore. I did forget to check for hardwood today, which is a bummer, but otherwise it was a good and profitable day. On day 104, with my chores quickly finished, I went to the blacksmith to turn in my watering can for an upgrade. Maybe all my tools will be golden by the time the year is over. My rod was ready for pickup, so I headed there next. After that, I went diving, since that's where I really like to hang out, and I found 2 more orbs to activate, and realized the orb monument things are marked on the map, and I missed 2 along my way. The lag I was having issues with seems to have settled, but there's still an issue with the fast travel on the dock where the Winter Festival lime seems to start. I'm pretty low in funds, so if I keep upgrading things from here on out, they'll cost 20,000 plus for upgrades, so I need to head back into the caverns tomorrow. Ew. On the morning of day 105, my old boss tried to get me to come back to work for him. I took care of all the chores, and honestly, it didn't feel like I had the direction, so I went into the ocean to clean and progress there. I found 2 more orbs down there and noticed one other one I missed for this area. I made it home late at night and gained only money from my loner ways on this day. On day 106, my watering can was ready, so I got my chores done and headed to town. Since I was headed to town, I took all the things I needed with me. I made an offering of goat's milk, got my things broken open at the blacksmith's, then visited the labs. I was able to donate my 180th item to the museum today. I took the remaining artifacts over to the giants to enchant my tools, and when I got there, Grog and the chieftain were having a discussion about opening a path. We will see what that means. I figured for the next tool I need 20,000, so I'd be heading to the caverns for osmium ore. When I got there, Gong was playing a prank on Grog. I spent the rest of the day looking for osmium ore. I came home, dumped a bunch of stuff in the shipping bin, and now I can get my pickaxe upgraded. I will leave that with the boys tomorrow. I did make my first 250,000 coins on this day. On the morning of day 107, Grandma sent me 1,000 coins. I started my day off with dropping my pickaxe off with Pablo for an osmium upgrade. Then I headed to the caverns for more money. But Ame, how do you plan to mine? I found a lot of explosives in my boxes, so we're about to fuck shit up. At the end of the night, I ended up with 100 pieces of ore, and I would call that a pretty successful outing. I leveled up to farming 7 on this day and made 15,000 coins. I am an osmium queen at this point. On day 108, I'm pretty proud of my haul from yesterday's cavern dive. After getting all my things settled at home, I decided to hit up the store and start upgrading my kitchen. I took my geodes and fossils to town with me too. I got a few new gems from the geodes today, and I went over to Socket and Pan and went ham. I bought everything. I have the money, so why not? After that, I went to visit the temple and make a gem offering to the goddess. She surprised me by showing up at the temple to meet me. She gave me another stamina fruit, and I feel amazing. I got a slime replication machine. I didn't know what it was, but when I got home, I found I can now duplicate gems. I threw a pink diamond in it so that maybe I can start bribing everyone with diamonds. Then I took a peek at my new kitchen and it looks awesome. I figured I would spend my evening in the ocean cleaning up. While I was there, I found another orb and a poor shark man who was trapped. I also somehow released a beautiful water dragon. It looks like it might be in the area near the Merfolk Kingdom. I think I found where it was, but I'm not seeing it there now. I should spend some more time in the Merfolk Kingdom soon, but honestly, it's just too slow moving around here. At least when I'm cleaning up in the ocean, I feel like I'm doing something as I move. In the night, something magical happened in several places. I think I'm headed there for my day 109. I went over to the now open area and I didn't find much there except for bamboo shoots. I gave Raphael a pink diamond and got a pretty good reaction out of him from it. I thought I would go to the ocean again today, and I found a new area with osmium kelp. I need a scythe upgrade, so I thought I would see what was going on in the Merfolk Kingdom. And there was nothing. I met the Naga, I released, but no one was really wanting to talk to me, and moving around was so slow. I went home early to empty my pockets, feeling a little dejected. I gathered hardwood instead of socializing, and then I went to bed. I grew to level 7 in ranching today. This morning of day 110, I cooked my first dish. I made fried eggs with my farm fresh eggs. I, of course, had to share one of those with the goddess, and after that, I took breakfast to my boys, Pablo and Raphael. Raphael seemed to have a little free time too, so I invited him to feed the capybaras with me. I wandered a little aimlessly after that, running into a couple of cutscenes with Ben. I finally caught my date on the beach, and it turns out it was Ben and Suki wanting to hang out. I foraged a bunch, found a fish in the trash, and went home to cook my first grilled fish and make a smoothie. I leveled up to catching 4 today and gained a heart with Raphael and made a little money off of my cooking. On day 111, my pickaxe was ready for pickup. I was able to gather my first osmium tool in this day. I spent the day meandering a bit, getting a couple of new cutscenes, talking to a couple of neighbors until I made my way to the cavern to use my new pick. I came out of the caverns with almost as much ore as the bombing day. This pick is exactly what I've always wanted. I gained a heart with Millie today and enough money to put my scythe in for upgrade next. Day 112, the last day of the year and of this playthrough. After collecting all of the last winter items I could find, I headed to Fish and Sips to chat with everyone until it was time for the New Year's festivities. I chatted with everyone there, the food looked good, I played games, and failed. But I had a great time. A perfect way to end the year and this 100-day video. I ended the evening surrounded by all of my friends and watching the fireworks. I earned 40 merit points for attending, gained a lot of hearts from people in town, and ended my time feeling pretty satisfied. At the end of this year in Coral Island, I feel like I got close to completing my goals. I met the merfolk. I did not get married. I haven't chosen between the 2 brothers, if I'm honest. Now that the pressure to get there by the end of the 100 days is gone, I may not even go for one of them at all. Ocean Daddy and I need a date. Decorate the farm. Yeah. It looks pretty. I definitely have more plans. And with spring here, I can start planting more, but I have neglected getting more sprinklers and upgrades done. I completed the caverns though, so that goal was met, and I did better my town ranking. For going in semi-blind on this playthrough, I'm pretty proud of what I accomplished. Let me know down below if you'd like to see a year 2 video of Coral Island, or if there's another game you want to see. Otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope you have a great day.